Hello guys, welcome to another session of my live. So we'll be looking at how to use Go to send mail. I do have my own package that I designed. Yep, I wrote a package because I would not want to be repeating myself every now and then. And that package is in the description in this live video. So it's called GoSend. I do know there's a product called GoSend, but I know send them. I have to create my own because I like the word go then send. So even in the syntax, it has that kind of you know tone to it. You do write your go and then you send your code. It has quite some number of customization you have to do to it or set up. So to say, we'll be starting from scratch till finish. So this is the URL or the endpoint to it is github.com/aro-wolo/go send. Okay, so I just like the name and what have you. So I'm gonna be doing a sample test of our mail and see that it delivers. I've tested it with AWS. I have not tested it with normal regular SMTP server like POP mail. It has only worked, or I've tested it on S3 or AWS mail server. So but I'm hoping that it's going to work on every other server because it has your normal configuration sets, nothing out of the ordinary here. So without further ado, let's go into the code and start what we need to do. I'll be going back and forth to read the documentation to also show you guys how the whole thing is. So I will just put this one on the right here. I think it's better for it to stay on the right this way so that we can see what we are trying to implement and then where we are in the code. Okay, this is a code we are going to be using. It's already set up. It's an app I've been writing for quite some time, and it needs to send an email. So I can just create an arbitrary endpoint just to send an email to test instead of me trying to put everything together. The point is that we just want to test. So from this my app, I can just create an endpoint, and the purpose will just be to test my mail that I want to do. So I will do send mail. That's what I want to call the endpoint, and I should be able to send to email. Send email. Okay, that's good. The endpoint, send, then the email there. So would that be a post or a get? Obviously it will be a post. You are doing something, you're not getting, even though typically it's not supposed to be a post because you're not creating anything, but let's just leave that for another day. Okay, so we're gonna be doing new so I did this image creation thing. Now where is it gonna sit in our folder structure? Let's make this a little bit big. I have several API collection stuff here. This is more like our controller, so this is not needed. So because it's a test, let me just create test underscore API. This is not a test script, by the way, but I just want to create something like that. So let's get AI to do some bootstrap for us, right? So this is gonna be new. I don't want to use the word test, so let's use new mail. It's better because that's what we're trying to do, new mail. So let's rename this from test to mail. So we'll call it mail API, and this can be send mail, as simple as that. So we can tell this guy, so this can be our package API, and tell this guy to send mail for us. I just deleted my whole stuff. Okay, so create mail controller to send mail. So let's say using, let me see if it's smart enough to identify my endpoints, or rather my mail stuff. That's this. Let's see what it's gonna do. Yep, it sees it, but what will it do? I can see that it's writing some stuff that doesn't make sense. Okay, don't worry about the boilerplate. We're gonna remove it altogether. So we have our mail controller. We don't want to request anything because there's nothing like client here. That's not how I implemented or I customized the system, and we won't need anything like clients like so. We're gonna create our mail controller without specifying any stuff. Okay, so this is the actual sending stuff. We're not gonna go down to services and what have you. We're just gonna write our plain code inside this one single giant controller just for a test. Okay, so it's coming with a JSON payload. Okay, which is not bad. Okay, so this is our gosend mail request. Nothing like this. We don't have anything like this in gosend. We need to document the endpoint to tell it the kind of API I want to call. So I want to do something like this: send mail. Even though it won't make sense to it, I will just try and tell it to do what I want. So I will tell it to write Swagger documentation. I don't need to tell it Swagger documentation. I just want it to use the endpoints. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. So it will know that the email is coming from the parameter that's going to be passed, so which is here. Okay, and that's what we're going to use to send mail. The rest of the things are going to be dummy information that we're going to be putting inside, so we don't care. Just want to be able to provide a mail from the endpoint, and then boom, we should all be good. Okay, so virtually everything here does not make any sense because it has not read the documentation to know the requirements that we're supposed to do. Of course, you can pass documentation to your AI and it should do some little trick on it. So let's go through your documentation and do it one by one. First of all, you need to install this guy, and that can be installed by doing go get github.com/aro-wolo/gosend, and that will be installed. Once you have that installed, you do your configuration like this. Okay, so let me show you how I get this configuration done. That can just be by just copying the code like so, but I already have all this. I'm not going to show you my username and password but I've already set it up, right? And all this is gonna be the recipient. So this part here, I've put it inside a, what will I call it now, inside a global variable, right, that I can easily reference. So this has been handled by, I'll show you, by, it's under configuration, and I put it under config here. It's been handled by here, this SNTP. You can see that it's referencing gosend.sntp configuration, which has all these guys, and this is where I'm getting every other thing, setting it up. So like I said, I have SMTP username, password, server, ports, and what have you already set in my environment variable, and it is returned as this. So it's copied like this. So let's go ahead and make my SMTP available. Even though I don't need to set it, I already know. I want to show you where it is. It's called config.smtp. So that is available for me to use anytime I want. Say it's undefined. Okay, I can't do anything with it. So it's here. So whenever we need it, we will use it. You will see where we're gonna need it. So I'm just wanting to reference that is, oh, this is the reason why it's complaining. So now it's not gonna complain again. It needs to import the config. So this is available now. So we don't need this one yet. We just need to bring that point here. But now this part has been defined. We have our SMTP configuration, which I've done. The next part is to know who the recipients are going to be. The recipients are the people that will receive the email. Okay, so we already have the recipients being passed from the param, right? Which I can still do manually. I just want to avoid putting manual code as much as possible. Let's make it a little bit automated by putting something like this. So the recipient has his own way of declaring it. We have a way of capturing our recipient. So let's see, how do we capture? I just copy the code just straight from the documentation, right? And we don't need the CC copy, blind copy. If you need it, you provide it. But because we're entering for one person, you can convert this to maybe list of emails. If it must be more than one email, you can write a code to strip that and convert it to a list of strings or array of string or map, whatever it is called. This is Golang, so that's its own nomenclature. So I'm going to put this one here to accept our email that is coming from here. We're not copying anybody and we're not blind copying anybody. So that serves that purpose like so. So you've been able to pass email into this. We're still going to use the recipient somewhere, but not here. By following the process, we have the configs SNTP. The next part is to now define the email contents. So we could do this in our payload, but I don't want to do a whole lot of boilerplate. So I'm going to write the code manually, right? So how do we do that? We just copy and paste, nothing too serious. So we say the subject is test email and the message is this HTML stuff here. Okay, very simple. Then how do you send the email, right? Go send now, and then you pass all this parameter. So let's copy and paste as well. We come here and we copy and paste. So which part is giving us issue is the config. Remember I said that the config, we already have it is in our SMTP. So I will do config.smtp. This is declared inside our configuration file here. And it's kind of looking like it's not working. What's going on? So it's saying cannot use this. Okay. My first issue. Let me see what is happening. Okay, so let's try and figure this out. Now, this value here is supposed to be carrying SNTP configuration. Okay, so and here we also have it SMTP configuration, which is not having any issue. This is where we define it up here, what SMTP is going to be, what it's going to be like. And it didn't have any problem up until we got here. So this one still work, but when we got here, it's not allowing us to define it. Okay, so what is happening is that I have two versions of my gosend. I know this is going to bite me in the future. So I have the version 2 and I have the normal version. So this is version 1 and this is version 2. So you should be using version 2. So let me see if it's, yeah, I think it has enforced version 2. Okay, and that fixed it. Wow, that was serious. Okay, so I have version 1 and version 2. So I also learned some things here, how to change from one version to another version, as in how to post different versions even when they are incompatible. That's a story for another day. Now let's move on to the next thing. I've been able to define everything and everything looks good, but we've not explained what this code is doing. So gosend is the package itself, and we've been able to capture the recipient, we've been able to capture the configuration. Now we want to send. We specify the recipients. Remember, we're only sending to one person, and the subject, which is test mail, and eventually the message. So this is where if anything goes wrong, it's gonna raise a red flag here. Okay, so this is where we try to see what is going on. I'm going to pull up my server. My server is already running, which is here at port 9000. And hopefully, all fingers crossed, we are not going to have issues. So the next thing for us is to call our endpoint, which is this part, and which is here, send mail. We'll put our email and we should receive, hopefully, mail. So how do I test? I use this http.rest.test to do my own test. I just write the endpoint and then I'm good to go. So I'm doing a post, I suppose. But like I said, it's neither here or there. And this one is okay. So send mail. I'm going to be calling this endpoint. I'm putting my email to it. This one is good. All these guys are actionable. No problem there. I put in send, then the email I want to send to, which of my email? Let me put my Gmail. And everything looks good. Fingers crossed. Wish me luck, guys. So if I click that and I get a waiting on the bottom. So it went, the code was executed, or the endpoint was hit. We hit the endpoint, but moment of truth is to see if the mail would deliver. So we need to wait like less than 5 seconds. If our mail did not deliver, it means there's a problem somewhere, and we need to figure out where that problem is. So from the look of things, the mail did not deliver because we didn't get the mail. The mail is not supposed to take that long to deliver. So like I said, I've not tested it with POP before, or rather with a generic mail platform before. This is the first time giving it a try, and I need to make it work on this platform. Okay, so let's go for debugging. This is when you need to debug it, because we still have a long way to go. We still need to also implement templating. We need to implement templating in the system, not just this. We need to also have templates, with it. Now, the first thing is that we didn't get any error message, right, to detect if there are any issues or not from the server. So I can also go and track my server to see what is happening, if the mail got delivered or not. What I can do, I can share so that we can see the configuration of the server as well to see what's going on. I don't think it's the password or the email, because I got everything listed or figured out before starting. Let's see if we can go to the test email and see what's going on. So let's track email delivery system to check what's going on. So these are mails that are coming in. Some are bounced. Something tried to come through send grid. Definitely this is not it. Today is 16. Let me see, show all. Yeah, this is cool. This is the email we're using, and the recipient is this. This was just sent now, and it says it got delivered. So success. So what went wrong? Let's get to see the email. Let's check the mail again. My mail got delivered. Interesting. First try. So let's go ahead and see what's going on with our mail. Why the mail is not delivering. or while we are not getting anything hit our inbox. I've tried to check the junk mail, it's not there. So what I want to do now is I want to log on to Gmail itself and check why we are not getting that mail show. You guys should close your eyes. So let's see Gmail. Or didn't I get the, I think I got the name correctly. So that's not from there. So let me send it to process guy email. And let's give that a try. Because the Gmail looks like it's far from me. So let's send it to process guy, because I can see process guy email right now. And that will be, yeah, my mail got delivered. I just saw it now. That is, I'm gonna show you guys so that you see the mail. Don't look at other mails. So I just want to show you one particular mail. So this is our mail. It got Office Slime test email. So we're in. Everything worked fantastically well. I don't know why I didn't deliver to. I'm still surprised why I didn't get it there. So the mail is coming from tests and we got in here. So first try, our mail got delivered. Hello world, this is a test mail. So guess what we're gonna do next? The next thing I want to do is how to do a mail template. Very, very important. Mail template. Of course, you're not going to send dry mail like this. You want to send something that's beautiful, right? So how do you do that? We go a step further, because this is just a starting point. We want to go a step further. You will not be writing, yeah, you'll be doing mail like this. So this is where the complex part comes in. It's not as if it's that complex, but you have to pay a little attention to this stuff. So let's see what does documentation says. By the way, don't forget the link is in my bio. Go and check the link out to see the package, and then you can use. So the first thing we just did was to send a simple email without templates. Now, how do you send with templates? Template allows you to create fine interface and what have you. You use HTML and what's up. So this is sending an email with a template, and we'll go as basic as possible. We'll make it as basic as possible. So first of all, we need to create a template file. Okay, so you can create header, body, and footer. Why do we need to create 3 templates file? Like seriously, why do we have to create header, body, and footer? Because in real applications, you will not just be sending only one email. You'll be sending series of emails to within your application. So you want to maintain a static header, a static footer, and then your body being dynamic, right? So, but if you want to send something static, you can just do one. But for these, I think I'm gonna do 3 like this. Okay, so that introduced us to another level of structure in our folder that we have. If you guys have been following me, you will notice my wonderful structure pattern of that I have. I have API configuration, DAO, DTO, middleware, models, routes, services, utility. So now we need to include templates. Wow, that's serious. So template, I'm still battling with either to add S or not to add S. At what point will you just know when to add S or not to add S? That's just wonderful. Okay, so you have templates, and within this template you can create more folders depending on what it is you are trying to do, or you just put everything boom as it is there. So we said we want to do start with 3 stuff. So the first one, we have our header .html, and we're going to make it very simple. and this is going to be, of course, you can go all out to put your styling and everything. This is HTML, guys, so you can put your styling and everything there. And then let's go with the body. The body is where you have dynamic content going. Let's say the body.html. So if you notice, the body have a kind of different look and feel to it. It has a code inside. So this is not code, it's like a template, right? To pass in whatever that is coming from your source. So you have your HTML, and then you have hello, you can pass something here, and then you now have part of the document. So you can build as many things as you want to build. And this body now is not supposed to be static. So this body can actually be a specific thing. I'm going to rename this body to something else so that you get a feeling of what I'm talking about. The next part is to define the footer. Okay, so I'll just copy and paste what we have here, but let me change the title of the body so that it kind of makes sense to what we are doing. So if I come to the body, I will rename it to something like reset or OTP, send OTP. So in literary science, you'll be calling things like send OTP, reset password, new user onboarding, and things like that. You'll be bringing new people into your application, you'll be sending mails. So, but this at every time remain your footer, and this remain your header. But this one here is what define what are the content of what you are doing, right? So instead of calling it body, I just called it, something there that we can reference to. Now, the next part is send email using template system. That's the tricky part. So everything you've seen here was just a child's play. Where is it again? Yeah, this mail was just a child's play. I think we are done with the other part here. When I mean child's play, we are going to introduce new stuffs that are going to look crazy. So, but bear with me, it's not that crazy. It is also still very easy. Now, we have something new, which is our template manager, right? Because we're doing a lot of things juggling with templates. So we need to implement the aid of this. And I started using templates for version 2. Version 1 of this Go module didn't have template. So I'm using a Mac. Someone was asking what system I'm using. I'm using a Mac. Okay, so we'll copy and paste this guy. So we initialize the template manager. That's what we're doing. So at what point you would do it doesn't really matter, as long as it's before you hit your goal, but let's do it all the way up. After we've captured our recipient, I can do something like this. Then the next thing is that we need to pass, very important, you need to pass your template into your template manager. Okay, so how do you pass that? You come here and you pass it through here. So from here, template manager, pass template, you are passing the header, you are passing, now this won't be the body, now this will be your send OTP, and then you are passing your footer to it so that it's going to build a full HTML document that does what it is you want it to do here. Okay, now there will be issues if you are if it didn't find this document. I think I need to tell you the path where to find this document. But for now, I can envisage that we're going to get an error right here because that part is deep. We are in here, we need to go back and then go and find the template right here. Okay, so but for now, I think I need to even take the template outside, but let's leave it inside here for now and then we'll move on. Gonna figure out that later. Okay, I think I need to also say it in the documentation so that people understand where the template is supposed to be located. Now the next thing is I need to also change this error. For people that are new to Golang, you can redefine what you've defined already. When you use this column, it means you are initializing and you are defining the value. So here I'm repeating the same thing. So I need to remove this column so that it knows that I'm just reusing the variable, not redefining the variable. Okay, so I can guarantee you that we're gonna get an error here, but let's move on and continue what we're doing. The next part is that you want to inject variable into your template. Like this guy, you want to say, hello, James, we are excited to have you on board, or something like that. So let me change this from sending OTP to say send welcome. Let me rename it to send welcome so that our message will be in sync with what we are doing. And let me remove this guy altogether, change this guy to, where is it again? Send welcome. Okay, now we have that sorted out. The next part is to bring this guy in. Remember what I said the purpose of this one is? The purpose is that we want to ingest the variable inside the template and make it available when we are passing the data into it. Okay, so this is our subject, this is our message. Our message is no longer needed because our message is already inside send welcome, but we want to pass dynamic variable into it. So that's why I call this data. And then we want to pass string of string, meaning there's a string here and there's a string here. Okay, so the value is name, and the key is name, and the value is John Doe, so that inside here it will show John Doe. The next part is to put this data inside the template manager. The template manager is going to be used to do all this, which is the next step, render the template. So I'm gonna come here and have this done this way. Okay, so what template are we trying to render? Template that is inside our template manager. This data that we're gonna pass inside it is gonna resolve itself and convert to a rendered body. So this rendered body is what we are gonna be sent as our message, and that will be done. Let me see. Yeah, that's done. This is just something we've done before. We've done this before. We'll send our message. Good. Let's go ahead and test. But like I said, I can envisage problem already brewing. Yes, there's gonna be an error here in this part of the code. But let's see. Let's get our first error. Sometimes I'm even excited to get an error. I was kind of shocked when we didn't get error the first time. It's kind of weird, right? So let's give it a try. So we go to our tests API section. This is what I use for testing, and I'm sending to this guy. Our mail, I'm sure it's not going to deliver, right? So because we didn't tell it the path to go and pick the mail template on. So this is where we're going to see what is going on, if there's any error. This is our console. So let me hit the send. Of course, sockets hang up. So let's see where it's not going to pull in a comment there. Let me check. Yes, I said it. So fail to pass template. Fail to pass template open header. No such file or directory. Okay. So let me use where I am. I can't remember how I locate how I'm specifying the direction, but I will use remote or absolute path. Yes, I'll use the path that I am to figure out my location. So, or let me just pick one of my projects that I did so I can use that to quickly check how I determine where the path is. That way it will kind of be easier and faster for us to skip or debug this. Then that reminds me, I actually need to provide a documentation for this. I thought I've documented every part of this app, but I think I'm still missing something. So in this app, so this is another app. I just jumped to this quickly so that I can do it. And I guess it was kind of showing Is this direct? Am I using the template method here? Okay, yeah, I'm using the template method here. Good. So you have to use the full path. The full path has to be used. Let me check where I am in the folder. So what I did was to, okay, so let's go ahead. So this is how the path is specified. Path templates, file paths. Okay, so let's do that. File templates, file paths. So let's look at the path to get to the file. We go to internal / templates, and I should suppose this should be valid. So we'll do the same thing for the rest and the rest. So we go back and try to execute our code, which should work now. Let me make sure that my console is ready to take our request. It is. So let's push that in, fingers crossed. It's not working. So it didn't still see that path. Internal templates .header. So I know that we're gonna get into an issue. So let me look for how this one got its path. Then we'll be able to, so we have templates in the root. So I need to make sure that our spelling is correct. Past templates. So what was this guy using? Oh, I see the problem. So here we have gosend. So I'm seeing something new. Let me see the Go version that I'm using here, because like I said, I have 2 Go versions. So I hope I'm sending the right parameter to the right version. Whoa. This is version 2. Version 2 required this. And the one that is tested is version 1. But let's go ahead and see. Let me check where this is source code, by the way. This is source code of the application. So if you pass files, this is what is going on. Okay. No templates provided, template manager. So let me check my spellings. Internal. Template, does it have S? No S. You guys didn't correct me. There's no S in the templates. There's no S in my template and nobody corrected me. Wow. But I hope that's the error. It will really make sense if that's only the error. So let's go ahead and try and send this time around. So I'll hit send and same thing. Same issue, same. I have a couple of things we're going to try, by the way. Okay, I think it's compiling. The request has been running on the requester port. So let's give it a try again. So where was my request being denied? So request can be denied if your server, okay, I think my server has stopped working. So what I want to do is I need to restart my server and execute that again. But let me read the error. Since connection was rejected, either request firewall is blocking request, did request source client. So let's try and resend that again. Socket hung up. Okay, we are calling body. So we are getting somewhere. So we've changed this. It's still calling body. Where is it saying body from? Render template, failed to render template, HTML body. So we are getting somewhere. We are saying body.html. Now, where did this see body.html? We didn't specify body.html again. We kind of renamed it to something else. So if that's the case, it means that the system is using an old compiled code. So Golang does this thing that sometimes if there's a bug in your code, it will use the old compiled code that you run to actually execute what it needs to execute. And by the way, I think the mail just delivered, the old one that we're here waiting for just delivered, but not the one we're looking at. So what I want to do right now is to stop the server. I think the server has even stopped by itself. So I want to stop the server and I would delete the template, the temp file. This is where all the binary gets saved when you create a new server. And let's run our server on the terminal here. Make dev. Okay, so that should be doing its thing. We have our Go code running. It's available. Let's try it again. Socket hung up. Why? Why do we have this error? So it's still referring to body.html somewhere in our code. And we need to look for this body.html. Something is wrong somewhere, but it can't even find, there's no such thing as body.html anywhere in our code. Let's see, find. It can't find anything like that. Okay, so with this information, I will just change the whole thing to body, right? Instead of calling it, did I refer body somewhere? I didn't mention body anywhere, so let me just change this to body so that we can even have the code work. Then service is available at port 9000. Then we can come and fight later. Let's first make it work, then we'll figure out what's happening. Okay, I thought as much. It will still give us that problem. So now that body has gone, it's now saying that there's no send welcome. Like, seriously? So I'm going to okay, we didn't change it to, oh okay, we didn't change this to body. I mean, yeah. Okay, so let's see if it will work. So let's, okay, I guess it worked. But really, you don't have to change that to body, but we're gonna figure everything out. So it sent a mail to process guy. Let's go and check our mail if we got something. Obviously we got something. Where's that mail guy? You guys should close your eyes. Oh. So this is the mail. It's this, and this time around it's looking all nice. Well, not that nice, but you notice that it put our John Doe in our mail, and then we have this. So the next thing I want to do now is to now beef it up with our design. Like, let's put a real design into it. This is the first one with just pure HTML, and this is the second one. We inject a text or a name. Yeah, we injected a name into it, but this is still disturbing. The fact that I had to change this to body before it goes, that's disturbing me. We'll get back to it later. Now, the next part is we need to design a standard HTML page, right? That will actually make sense to what we want to do. So this is supposed to be, I'll just tell you to design a template. So design an HTML template to welcome a new user. So it's as simple as that. So it's supposed to give it graphical design. You can see that it's putting style and what have you into the whole thing. I'm not selecting any design right now. It's just doing its thing. And let's get to see the preview, which we can see. I think maybe it should be a surprise. Or let's look at the preview. So this is the preview of what we're expecting. Even though it's still not looking very, you know, futuristic, because it's not having any coloring. Okay, it's colored this part, even though you guys can't see it. It colors some part of the, so I'll just tell you to add some more colors so that it will be, add more, beautify it, add more colors and beauty to the template. So it looks kind of nice. And again, I want to make it different from, yeah, this is cool, but that blue is too sharp. Okay, so let's see this so that you see the difference between what you have in the previous mails and as we deliver it. Now let's say this is gonna have, I don't like that blue color. I don't like that. Red is too red. Green is too green. Okay, that blue was too sharp. I think this blue is cool. Yeah, that blue was too much for me. So you guys notice that the footer, you know, was supposed to be somewhere else. So you can pull that footer inside the footer section. But we can still leave it here because the footer generally can be something like, you know, copyright, all those things, unsubscribe kind of a thing. So let me tell you to create a footer for my general news or general mail templates, right? Is the last thing at the bottom. It's even creating a table for it. That's serious. Okay, so let's see what it created. Let's preview it and see what we'll have. Okay, so this is what he did. He did an underline, right, and say thank you for choosing us. Need help? Contact us. So that's general footer altogether. I'm not going to dispute that. I'm going to leave that as it is. So I don't want to do something in the header. You can also do something in the header. That can be maybe your logo. Okay, do general header for my templates. I don't know what to say there. So I'm putting general header. I noticed that my header did not show. That's interesting. Come to think about it, the header did not show in the mail. So let's accept this one. And no, this is not good. This is not what I'm asking it to do. This is not what I'm asking it to. It's turning it to a website. Add a mail header that I can use for all my email templates going out. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let's check the preview. So this is what it, yeah, this is more like it, because you're supposed to have logo and then everything falls on the bottom. This is more like it. But what I want to do now is to get a sample logo, because I don't just want to. So what logo will I use now? Let me use Office Lime logo. Where do I get that logo from now? So I'll just get a logo online that I can use, and that will just be it. So this is the logo I want to use online, and let's preview it to see if it's working, and then we can go ahead and work with it. Hey, my logo is not showing. Why? Let me check outside the browser, because sometimes this guy does not show image online. So the logo has been confirmed. It's not showing. The logo is not showing online. Okay, it's showing here, but why won't it show online? Okay, have I saved? Okay, so if I click on the logo, it resolved. Let me use another logo. Let me use GitHub logo. Little kitty. Let's use this guy. Ah, that's an SVG. So I want to use a publicly available image. And we can be done with it. Okay, so I've seen one to use. Let's go and use this one. Good. Beautiful. What do you guys think? It looks nice. Ah, I need to use my own logo, actually. There's one logo that came to mind now. Let me use that logo. I guess you guys are going to like the logo. I hope so. So it's available at h.officelime.app/9000/that. Okay, beautiful. We're getting somewhere. So we're using this logo, right? And that will be it. Let's now see if our mail will deliver and look a little bit nicer. So we didn't change anything. We just worked on the template, and that is it. We put our name there. Welcome to our community. We put the name, and that's the only thing we are passing from the code. This code can do more in the sense that we can build more details. You can say the person's address, right, and then provide what you need to provide there. And this can also come as a built-in data object that you can pass to this. Okay, let's go ahead and send the code again, or send the mail, trigger the mail sent, and we'll watch out for our results. Okay, that mail has been sent. I just clicked on the button now, and we have a go mail sent. Let's check our inbox to see if we have a mail. We should get a mail. What do you guys think? So if I come in here, this is where is the mail again? So if we go back one step, we got our third mail, and I'm hoping it's gonna look nice, which is kind of looking nice. I don't know why it's tilted to the right. Okay, because I kind of zoomed it. So you guys notice something. We are missing the header and the footer. I noticed that in the first mail. So this is our mail. The mail is coming with the it's coming up with the touch of the design we've put there, but like I discovered, the header and footer are not being merged in the mail, which is kind of a bummer. So we need to fix that. I don't know where that fix is coming from, but our mail is looking nice now. It's looking nice. So, but we need to fix our header and footer. One of the ways to do that is just to either combine it and as one, instead of it coming as a separate template like this. So instead of us coming with it as a separate template, you can combine it to be a one template thing, and then it just do its thing. So why is it picking only the body of the template, working with only the body? So let me look at our documentation. So I think I need to upgrade the documentation. The documentation we are working with might be a version 1 documentation thingy. So it might just be that there's worrying it, which I need to, so I need to work on the templating system to actually use all the parameters together. I think I know what is wrong with it. I need to update my documentation. So it's documentation that is wrong with what is happening. There's a way you can merge these to form one giant template, but not with this guy. That's not what this guy will do. So we need to create another template that we put the whole thing together. Okay, so let's quickly do that. Okay, so using templates with so let's see if we have our, these are our templates. I can create a new one and say welcome.html. And the idea of the welcome HTML is to merge these 3 templates together to form one single template, right? That's the purpose of what we are trying to do. Let's see how we can quickly do that. So to do that, we need to create a template called tmpl. There's a folder or a file we need to create, but it's not going to carry our usual templating thing that we normally do. It's going to be different from what we normally have. Instead of calling it HTML, it's going to be tmpl. Let me check if that's what we did, which I think is not what we did. I don't want to do trial by error. I just wanted us to just do what we just work directly. So let's go ahead and use the Golang way of doing templates. Right, let's go ahead and use that method, and from there we'll be able to see what works. Or to save time, let's see. I have this and this. I'm trying to look for a very, easy way out. I look for easy way out so that we don't waste too much time. So we have the header, we have the content, and we have the footer. So let's look at the easy way out. Let's just put everything in one. But the ideal thing is that you have the header footer separately. So let's put everything to one and send out this mail. Okay, so we have the header parts. We put the header parts inside this part, and we have the body itself, which is this part, and we put it next to it. We have the footer part, which is the whole of this, also in a table. It makes it kind of looks nice, and we have it this way. So this is our welcome mail. We do it with body, footer, and header. So let's go to our code. Now, instead of you passing all of this guy, you just pass in your welcome HTML. Okay, you pass in your welcome. But like I said, the backlash of this is that you have to create so many duplicates. So if you have changes in your template, you have to change all the parts that you have that you repeated the header and footer. You have to change everything. Okay, so all this looks nice. The next thing is for us to actually test it and see if it will go the first try. Remember, we have to be renaming this our template thing. I don't know why that part failed to work. Let's give it a go now and see if it will work. This guy has started again with the naming thing. So let's check where our issue is coming from. Where is the terminal? So we are fixed to body. Now this is trying to tell me something. I'm thinking that my source code has issue. So what I mean is this. I thought as much. So in my source code, I'm actually binding to body. Hey, this is a very big issue. So this is the source code for gosend, and unfortunately I manually send to body using template. So you have to literally type body here, which I'm going to change. There's going to be a new version anytime soon. I think I should do a new version, and part of the new version, of course, is going to be an incremental version. So anybody using this already will be able to implement this. So this is forcing us to use body in our to execute our template. So this should not be what it should take. You should be able to pass in the template that you've passed in before should be what it should use, not just fixed like this. So this is where the problem is coming from the main source code. Yeah, I just figured that out. So this has to always be body. Body. Do we have to put body there? Okay. Let me now come to put body. Okay, body is here, right? Let me delete all this one and rename this one to body, so that this can also now be body. Then I know that I have a bug to squash. Like I said, the version 2 was not fully tested. It was more of like the version 1 that I've been using more often, and I tested that rigorously. But version 2 came with a lot of features, which I think you guys will see in later time. So let's go and check our mail. We've sent this one. Let's see what we'll have in the mail. Okay, this is the old one. Let's check. This is the new mail. Now the new mail came with why did he have this? Why did he ask us to do this? Is very funny. So but we need to find why that happened. So this is the mail. We have our logo on top, we have our footer on the bottom, and then we have this funny looking thing which we need to fix. You can't have your mail looking like this. Like, what's going on here? So I think there should be a problem with the HTML, so that's why that happened like that. The HTML have like a funny looking behavior. So what you can do, because we actually patch it from one to another, so what you can do is to tell this guy to fix the UI for you. So if you just say to fix the UI, hopefully it's going to do something that will make sense. Hopefully, because sometimes this guy will just do his own thing and make it look funnier. So this is what we're expecting. I just sent it a message to do something better. So while it's trying to do that, okay, I've given it. So let me give ChatGPT to do for me. So let me give ChatGPT to do for me, and let me see what it returns for me. I think it's typically the same thing, but I don't know why he's splitting it into two for us. Why does he have to do that? Okay, so let's go ahead and resend this mail and see what it says. Okay, so that mail has gone out. Let's check the mail again. Let's go back. Okay, we have our fifth mail. Where is the mail? No, that can be the fifth. Okay, the fifth mail is on top. No. Okay. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna delete everything because right now I'm confused. I can't see the mail. Which one is which? So let's go ahead and resend the mail and see which one is which. So we got our mail. It's looking better now. At least it's not coming up with the that line doesn't make sense, by the way. The bottom line also doesn't make sense because this is inside a box already. So I can go in there and do, first of all, look for HR. If there's anything called HR. No, there's no HR. So border. So border bottom, I don't want it. Then there's a border top as well somewhere, which I don't also want. Okay, so that should solve the two border guys. And I should have a clean setup now. So if you check again, which I don't know which one is which again anymore. I have to check. Good. We're getting somewhere. So your mail should look like this. So I'm thrilled to have you. Journey start now. So this is looking better. Thank you for choosing us. This is way, way better. Any day, anytime. This is way better. So that's how you send mail using GoSend. We have a bug which we need to crush. But that will not be in this session. I will take that privately and then crush the mail, and we will now have a more robust future on our Go package. So if in case you are wondering where is the Go package, is on my GitHub account. My GitHub account is the link in my bio. You can see that in my link, in the link on my bio. Where is that guy again? I think this is it here. So it's called GoSend. Use that to send mail to your loved ones. So this is where we're testing to see if our mail got delivered. So this is a test mail that I created just to make sure that I test the mail. I normally use it with AWS, but this is the first time I'm testing it with other mail provider, and it's kind of working, which is good. Okay guys, thank you for showing up. We're also on other platform. Make sure you join us. You can check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Kick, and I think there's one called Trevor or something. We're also on Telegram. We also have WhatsApp channel and WhatsApp group. See the link in the bio to join the WhatsApp community as well. So we'll continue on TikTok. But YouTube, good night for now. Okay guys, so we just finished that. What I want to do now